You've heard of Jack the Ripper, the unknown serial killer that was famous in London for murdering prostitutes in 1888. Well, here in Austin, we had our own serial killer who was unknown. He began his spree in 1884, and it continued for about a year. There were 8 victims. 6 of them were black women who worked as servants. So the killer became known as the Servant Girl Annihilator. 2 of the victims, the last 2, were white women. But the killer's mode of operation was the same. He would find an axe, he would slip into a house in the dark of night, bludgeon the victim's skull, and then drag the body out to an alley or a yard somewhere nearby. The 2 white women were murdered on the same night, Christmas Eve, 1885.
I am Eula Phillips, the last victim of the Servant Girl Annihilator murderer. Well, I was only 17 years old the night that I died. And while the murderer had been killing people for over a year, most of the people I knew weren't terribly scared for our own safety. After all, the previous victims had all been black servants. We were concerned for the servants, but most of us did not think we were in any real danger. And then, in a single night, he killed Susan Hancock and me. 2 dead white ladies in one night? Well, that got the attention of the white people of Austin. The Statesman's headline on Christmas Day read, "Blood, blood, blood. The demons have transferred their thirst for blood to white people." Well, they always did have a flair for the dramatic.
My name is Martha Elizabeth Whitten. I am here at the plot where 7 of my 10 children are buried. I'm reading poetry that I wrote when my children passed.
Here we have Richard Lamont. He actually perished in the Galveston hurricane of September 8th, 1900. He'd been stationed there at Fort Crockett and had been living in a tent at the time, which I can tell you is not a great place to be living when you're in a hurricane.
This is the headstone and grave of Wilhelm Bismarck Kluge. He was 9 when he died. He had a heart infection. And at the time, the procession for his funeral was the largest of any child that had ever been seen in Austin. There were over 50 schoolmates and children that followed along, and they had strewn flowers all over his coffin as well. He was the son of Frederick Wilhelm Kluge, and he's named after him, but people called him Willie. The symbolism on his headstone is indicative of the time. The weeping willow meant everlasting life. The Lamb of God indicated or symbolized purity and innocence, which was on most children's graves at the time.